Welcome. I am your Polkadot Specialist Var, and today we're going to talk about hydration and its new lending and borrowing feature. If you like this particular episode, please like and subscribe and be highly appreciated. So I wanted to do this particular episode because hydration did launch its new money market, which allows you to lend and borrow. So we're going to kind of go into those particular features, and let's talk about why people might lend and borrow in crypto. So first, obviously, if you're lending it and you're providing your money to be lended, you're going to get interest on your money. So it's a way to kind of allow your money to work for yourself. Now, why would anybody take out a loan on their crypto? So on this particular platform, it's called over collateralized lending. So what does that mean? It means you are actually going to be putting up something collateral, such as like if you had a house, you put your house up so that the bank will be able to take your home if you don't pay back your loan. Similar in crypto, you actually put up your particular asset up as a collateral, and if you don't pay it back, they can liquidize or cash in your particular crypto to pay back the debt. So that's over collateralized lending. This means you actually have to put up more than what you're actually going to be borrowing. Now, why would somebody do that in crypto? Doesn't make any sense, right? If I have something, why would I put something up there as more value than what I'm going to be borrowing? So the reason that is especially in a particular market with crypto where you might be projecting or have a belief for yourself that your asset is going to go up, especially in this particular market, which they call a bull market. Not to go too deep into that. That just means that we're in a particular time of the year within the crypto cycle where these assets are projected to do highly well. Okay, again, this is not financial advice, so please do your own research. I'm just giving you my own personal opinion. So if you know that you have an asset, it could be Bitcoin, it could be Polkadot, it could be varhdx, which is the HDX token, now called hydration coin. It could be Fala, it could be Ethereum. If you believe in this particular asset, you think this asset is maybe going to double in value, triple in value, 10 times its value, why would you sell it? Why would you sell it? You're going to sell it today, pennies on the dollar, when you know tomorrow it's going to be worth so much more, right? So that's why people do not like to sell their crypto. And it's also a strategy that a lot of wealthy people also do. When you talk about a lot of wealthy people, so you hear about like Michael Saylor, where he buys all this Bitcoin and he holds it, never does anything with it. In crypto, they call that hodling. But you hold on for dear life. They never sell. But if you have something come up, you have an emergency, you have to pay a bill, or you see another crypto, you might need some cash. You might need a little bit of money so that you can maybe make a move in a tight pinch. So what people will do, they never sell their asset. They take a loan out, and that taking that loan out is also not a taxable event because you're borrowing money. And one advantage of this in crypto is a lot of things, but the main thing is you normally have a very low interest payment that you have to pay back because it's collateralized lending. And I'll kind of show you some examples of what those interest payments are. And also, you don't have to like pay monthly on it or anything like that. You pretty much, they never ask you for it unless your asset, instead of goes up, goes down. And that's the bad. So when you're talking about collateralized lending, the bad part is if, say, for instance, you thought your Polkadot coin was going to go from $10 to $20, but instead it went to $5. It went the opposite direction. Now your asset might be in jeopardy, and because now you don't have enough on this particular platform to pay back your debt, they liquidate you. So now you lose that asset to pay off that debt. So it's kind of like you are betting that your asset is not going to lose a certain amount of value. Now, you can do things where you don't lend out too much money so that your asset's not in jeopardy, and we'll kind of go into that. So this is the platform Hydration. So that was just a little background on why people might use a money market for lending and borrowing. So just to recap, you get interest on your asset for providing it up as an asset on the platform, and also it could be a way that you could deploy some strategies to either pay off something for emergencies or just to have some money for spending, or people might get cash to buy another crypto that they like, that they think is going to do super well, and they're kind of diversifying. So now they took out a loan on their own crypto to make even more money, to double down on another asset, or to double down on an asset that they really like, or maybe to get interest, where you can do staking or put up money somewhere to get interest on your money. So that's another thing as well. So let's get into this tool. So this is Hydration here. So on Hydration, you always start with the cross chain. So that's where you can put your Polkadot or whatever asset onto Hydration. So that's where you start. So right now, I have an example up here. I have on here that one Polkadot. You hit max, and then you hit transfer, and then you'll have your asset on there. Now I do have a little bit of funds on here to kind of show a little tutorial on how you could do this. Once you have your asset on here, you can go to this trade and hit swap and get whatever asset you want. I've already done a lot of videos on Hydration, which is formerly varhdx. So if you go onto my channel, I have a whole spot dedicated to Hydration and varhdx. I'll go ahead and post that information here. Check the first video, it shows some of these trading features. Now we're just going to focus on the money market and the lending and borrowing. So we're going to go to the tab for lending and borrowing, and we're going to enable it. So this is going to enable, so you're going to hit this particular button here, and this will enable everything. Great. So now we sign for the transaction and enable the lending and borrowing. So now on this platform, it's going to show you some different things here. Okay, it's going to show you the amount of money that you have on this platform and the amount it's worth. Okay, this is going to show you the assets that are available for you to put up for collateral. So these assets right now, they have wrapped Bitcoin, so pretty much Bitcoin that's on Ethereum. So, well, right now it's on Polkadot. So you have wrapped Bitcoin, you have Polkadot, you have USDT and USDC. So these are assets, crypto assets you can put on here, put up as supply, and then in return you can either get the same equivalent. So you can get Polkadot, wrapped Bitcoin, USDT, and USDC. So I like to use something that is rather stable. Don't have to worry about there being a lot of fluctuation. So I'm glad they actually have these. These are considered large cap crypto. Polkadot fluctuates with the amount of its supply. So that one might be the most volatile of these coins on here, even though there's billions and billions of dollars in Polkadot. The price does tend to fluctuate. Bitcoin's rather stable, and USDT and USDC, you ain't got to worry about the price fluctuating on those because those are pegged to the US dollar. So these are your coins that you can put up for collateral, and that's why they have check marks here. They're also adding VDOT, which is staked Polkadot. So it's pretty much Polkadot, but it's also getting the interest payments, which is actually unique. I believe I saw that as an option that is on the table to be added in the future. Okay, so let's go ahead. Right now I just have some wrap Bitcoin on here. So the reason why you might want to do wrap Bitcoin is not only are you going to get the price appreciation if Bitcoin decides that it's going to keep going up and up. I only anticipated only dropping so much, but also on this particular platform at the moment, it doesn't have a lot of interest that you can get for putting your Bitcoin up for providing liquidity. Or I like to use wrap Bitcoin because it's an asset that I believe will be around for a very, very long time. I don't want to sell my Bitcoin, and because of that, I might take out a little bit of cash so I can preserve my Bitcoin, not sell it, and maybe get another asset that might get high interest payments. So that's one reason why I personally might use wrap Bitcoin or or that particular asset overall. But you could do different things when it comes to your strategy. So in this particular example, we're going to have $25 of wrap Bitcoin. We're going to go ahead and use that as a supply. So we're going to put the maximum on here. So I put all of the wrap Bitcoin on this platform. I'm going to go ahead and sign for that transaction. Now that particular asset is enabled on this platform. So now it's going to pop up here. It shows that I have $25 on here that can be used for collateral. So now I personally don't like to go beyond 30% of whatever an asset is, but I'm just using this as an example. So now I can go ahead and borrow any of these assets. I personally would like to borrow stable coins, and the reason why I personally would like to borrow for stable coins, which are pegged to the US dollar, is because I don't have to worry about that asset appreciating. And now I got to pay back where I thought it was $10. Now I got to pay back 20 because that asset done doubled. So that's why, for me, at one point I was thinking about getting Polkadot, but I started thinking about it. I was like, well, if Polkadot goes from $10 to $20, now instead of me only owing one Polkadot, which is worth $10, I might have to owe $20 because that asset appreciated. Now it can go the other way, but during this particular time in the market, you just don't want that variable of you having to pay back something that's now double or triple what it used to be. So for me, I like to borrow stable coins because I know exactly how much later. Now on this particular platform, it shows you here that this is how much you would have to pay back. So your DOT, you would have to pay back less than 1%, so 0.43. For wrap Bitcoin, it's 0.37. For USDT, it's 1.93%, and for USDC, it's 1.86%. Now, I do, again, on my end, even though you're paying a little bit more, 2%, so that's for every $100, you're only paying $2. So that's not bad, and you only have to pay that back when you go back pay back the loan. Okay, so this is then you just hit borrow. So say for instance on here, it's going to show up here. It's going to show your health on how risky the amount you borrowed is, and then it's going to show the amount of interest. All right, so we're going to go ahead and borrow USDC. So let's say we'll go ahead and borrow $5. Okay, so we borrowed $5 of USDC. So now I actually have USDC at my disposal in my wallet, and it shows that right now the amount that I'm borrowing is at a healthy amount. I didn't over borrow an amount. This here shows the health factor. The more and more you borrow, the more risky it is, and it'll kind of show you based on different colors overall, and it's showing that right now I'm only borrowing about 20% of the maximum 70% that I'm allowed to borrow. So that shows that there. So yeah, so this is the lending and borrowing. Okay, so now let's fast forward, and let's say it's like 6 months from now and you're ready to pay back your loan. The market's starting to crash a little bit, or you just don't like how the market is, and now you want to just make sure that you don't risk your particular asset, your Bitcoin, your Polkadot, or whatever you decided to do the lending and borrowing for. So what you're going to do is now you're going to go ahead and pay back the loan. So you just come back to the same platform, and then now make sure on this particular platform, make sure it's very important because there's different types of USDC and USDT. The type that they have on here for the lending and borrowing is the one on, it has an A in the corner. Okay, that's Asset Hub. All right, so that's Asset Hub. USDC. So that's the amount that we need to repay, is the one with the little a, that the amount from Asset Hub as well. Okay. So make sure you look at those different symbols and make sure whatever asset you're going to go repay or you swap for, that you can pay your payment back, that it's on the correct type of asset. All right, so we're going to do the Asset Hub USDC and we're going to hit repay. All right, and so when we go ahead and do that, we're just going to go ahead and hit repay the maximum amount. So now I got to pay the $5 plus a little bit amount in which the interest would have been. Okay, so now we have gone ahead and paid back our loan. So I went ahead and I showed you pretty much the assets that you can go ahead and do the lending and borrowing with. That's your stable coins, USDC on Asset Hub. You have USDT on Asset Hub. You have the wrapped Bitcoin, and that's from the Moonbeam. That's why it has a little O on there. And then you have Polkadot as well. So those are the 4 different assets you can use for the lending and borrowing. Remember that if you borrow for a non-stable coin such as Polkadot or Bitcoin and that coin appreciates, then you'll end up having to pay, if it's one dot and that one dot is $10, and then 3 months from now dot is $30. Now instead you have to pay back 10, you have to pay back 30. So just keep that in mind. So that's why it's a good idea to possibly do your stable coins USDT and USDC, even though those have a little more interest that you might have to pay a little bit back. We're only talking about an extra 0.5% or extra percent, 1.93 versus 0.37. But again, that helps you against the risk of that asset doubling and tripling. So to me, it's worth it. But again, do your own research, to each his own. You know, I'm kind of talking out loud on my own thoughts when you're using this particular platform. So those are some different things. It's a lot of things you can do with that, where you can now utilize your assets on this money market using decentralized finance on hydration. So what do you think? How would you use this money market? Have you done so? I think it's a very unique tool. It gives more use case for hydration, the Polkadot network, where now you got Polkadot, where you can do lending and borrowing with Bitcoin, or wrapped Bitcoin. You can do the lending and borrowing with Polkadot. They got the VDOT coming. You have your stable coins. And then hydration has all the different things on our swap, all the different coins that you can swap for, and all types of different functions on here. So this is hydration money market, lending and borrowing activated. If you like this particular episode, please like and subscribe. I appreciate your time. Thanks for spending time with your boy on New Year's. Have a blessed day. Goodbye.